40,000 years ago, the sun sets behind a mountain, and no one watching knows if it's coming back. No science, no writing, no one to ask, just a species staring into a universe that refuses to explain itself. So they did something strange, something that, according to some anthropologists, may have mattered more to our survival than the spear, the wheel, or fire itself. They told a lie on purpose, and it saved them. The sun became a god, the dead became stars, an angry river became a god you could bargain with. By the end of this video, you'll understand why that lie wasn't weakness. It was the sharpest survival tool our species ever built, and why your brain is still running the exact same program today. Here's something most people never think about. For 98% of human history, there was no such thing as an explanation. Writing is only 5,000 years old. So for nearly the entire existence of our species, every single generation faced the same terrifying blank page. Why does lightning strike? Why do we dream? Why does the body just stop with nothing but instinct to work from? And human instinct has a very specific, very strange glitch built into it. Psychologists call it agenticity. Your brain's compulsive habit of assuming randomness has a someone behind it. A rustle in the grass is probably wind. But the humans who assumed predator and ran survived more often than the ones who calmly did the math. Over hundreds of thousands of years, that paranoia won. Now point that same glitch at a thunderstorm, a drought, a death. What do you get? A god's anger, a punishment, a message. This is the part that should genuinely unsettle you. Ancient people weren't less intelligent than us. Their brains were doing exactly what evolution built them to do. Hunting for patterns in chaos, refusing to accept no reason as an answer. The problem is that glitch never got patched. It's still running in your skull right now, and in a few minutes, you'll see exactly how it built entire civilizations. Now here's where this gets genuinely strange, because some of these made-up stories turned out to be true. Aboriginal Australian oral traditions, some of the oldest continuously told stories on the planet, describe a coastline that once stretched much further out to sea before the sea rose up and swallowed it whole. Modern geologists checked. Sea levels did rise dramatically at the end of the last ice age, thousands of years before anyone could write a single word down. Somehow that memory survived, not in a book, but in a story, passed mouth to mouth for possibly 7,000 years. It gets stranger. Along the Pacific Northwest coast, indigenous stories describe a supernatural battle so violent it shook the earth and pulled the entire ocean back before it crashed in again. Geologists eventually traced this to a real earthquake in the year 1700, a date confirmed independently on the other side of the Pacific by Japanese records of a mysterious orphan tsunami that same year. Why did the memory survive at all? Because a warning list is forgotten in a generation, but a story with a monster, a battle, a stake, can survive for centuries. Myth wasn't fiction here. It was a hard drive with no power source, running on nothing but narrative. But surviving the world was only half the problem. The other half was almost worse. The universe itself felt like it might collapse into meaninglessness at any moment. And so, in civilizations with zero contact with one another, separated by oceans and thousands of miles, we find almost the exact same story showing up over and over and over again. In Babylon, the god Marduk battles the primordial chaos goddess Tiamat and rips her body apart to build the sky and the earth. A myth so important it was reperformed every single year, like a ritual reset button for reality itself. In Egypt, cosmic order had a name, Ma'at, locked in permanent, exhausting battle against Isfet, the force of chaos. The pharaoh's real job wasn't paperwork and politics. It was holding the universe together by hand. In Greece, Hesiod wrote that before anything existed, there was only chaos, a formless void, until the gods clawed order out of nothing. 3 civilizations, 0 contact, the same story. That's not coincidence. That's a species asking the exact same terrified question in the only language available to it. Why does anything make sense at all instead of nothing? Here's a claim that sounds almost too bold to be true. Myths may be the single reason large human civilizations were possible at all. Historian Yuval Noah Harari points out that no other animal on Earth cooperates in the numbers humans do. And the reason is our unique ability to believe in shared fictions, gods, laws, nations. In ancient Egypt, the pharaoh wasn't just a king, he was the living god Horus. Rebel against him, and you weren't breaking a rule. You were attacking reality itself. Try organizing a coup against that. In Mesopotamia, King Hammurabi didn't just write laws. He claimed Shamash, the sun god of justice, handed them to him personally. Break the law, and you're not just a criminal. You're defying a god who sees everything. And myths policed behavior no courtroom ever could. In Greek myth, mortals who showed hubris, dangerous, arrogant pride were destroyed without mercy. Icarus flew too close to the sun and fell out of the sky. Arachne boasted she wove better than a goddess and was turned into a spider forever. No trial, no jury. Just a story terrifying enough that an entire culture absorbed the lesson in one telling and never forgot it. Now we reach the question every single myth on Earth was, in some way, quietly trying to answer: what happens the moment you stop existing? In Egypt, the answer was almost bureaucratic in its precision. Your heart would be placed on a scale against a single feather, lighter than the feather, and you walked into eternal paradise. Heavier, and you were devoured on the spot. This wasn't a comforting bedtime story. It was believed so completely that it built the pyramids. In Mesopotamia, the Epic of Gilgamesh, one of the oldest stories human beings have ever written down, follows a king so devastated by his best friend's death that he goes hunting for immortality itself. He fails, completely, and the story doesn't soften that. Instead, it hands him something else. The idea that what you build can outlive you, even if you can't. The Norse went a different direction entirely. Die bravely in battle, and you don't just die. You're carried to Valhalla, to feast with Odin himself until the final battle at the end of the world. 3 civilizations, 3 completely different answers, but the same desperate function underneath all of them. Myth didn't cancel death. It just made it survivable for the people left behind. Here's the twist you probably saw coming, but maybe not this clearly. You never stop doing this. Nobody blames Zeus for thunderstorms anymore. We have meteorology, but the exact same mind that once needed Zeus to survive a scary sky didn't retire. It just found new targets. You still turn messy, random events into clean stories with a beginning, a struggle, and a meaning about your career, your relationships, your own life. You still flatten complicated real people into simple heroes and villains because ambiguity is exhausting and stories aren't. You still quietly comfort yourself about death with narrative, whether that's a religion, a legacy, or just the hope that someone will remember you. So maybe the real reason to study ancient myth isn't to laugh at what primitive people believed. Maybe it's because it's the only mirror we have that shows the raw machinery underneath our own minds. A machine that, faced with chaos and mortality, has never once stopped reaching for the same tool. Ancient people didn't need myths because they were primitive. They needed myths because they were human. And so, quietly, constantly, right now, do you?